All right, so it was the night before the night before the night before Christmas. Anyways, it's Wednesday and I had great plans, debating between quilting on tomorrow, which is Thursday, Christmas Eve in the morning before we go over to my parents' house, or on Monday and cram in getting it done days before my brother's birthday. So my original plan, I was like, oh, well, I'll just leisurely get to the shop and then quilt for a couple hours, and then by the time I get home, it'll be time to get in the other car and head up to my parents. But then this happened. So now my crazy plan has turned into, I've got to drop my car off at Le Schwab before 9 o'clock so then I can get to, that's just, they didn't have any appointments available, so get to go do that. And then I'm going to take a lift up to the shop so I can get quilting for a couple hours, and then whether my car's done or not, I'm going to just head back to my house if my car's not done, and then we'll go from there. So I've got my quilt tops all done, as you saw before. I've got my, it's navy blue, so I've got a navy blue minky backing. I've got my, forgot to buy it by the yard batting, so I've got Warm and Natural. It's 80/20 cotton batting. It's batting. And I'm going to use the variegated thread again because I think with the amount of blues that are on this quilt, it'll work just fine. So the next time you see me will be tomorrow morning as we're either heading off to Le Schwab or starting to get quilting. Here we are, all pinned in, basted in, and ready to roll. So I'm going to get the pantograph all set in. So today I did not center my quilt top on my backing because it's only 60 some odd wide and this is a 90 wide backing. And my mom likes to use the minky scraps for making Funky Friends plush animals, so she's going to have a bigger piece left to use if I don't center this versus if I did center, she'd have two smaller pieces. So that's why it's kind of off to one side, but it'll do the job. All right, we're back and it's Christmas Eve now. So we're gonna move on to the next part of finishing up this quilt. I've got to trim off the, see, I've got it all laying out over there. We've got to trim off the excess, so all the extra backing and batting, got to trim that off. I'm gonna bury my threads and go from there. Since I don't have my binding yet, I need to get my binding this weekend so then I can get it all done and gift it to my brother on Tuesday. So I need to pick out my binding as well. I think I'm gonna do one of the darker blues. And I have so many threads that need to get buried because this Affinity thread by Glide, the variegated, it just kept breaking, and I'm not sure whether it's the machine or like the needle or the spool of thread itself, but both times I've used it, I've had a lot of thread breakage. So maybe I'll give it a third shot. I think both times I used the 10-foot machine and not the 12-foot frame machine. So I don't know, maybe if the needle's being weird or what, but we'll see. So I'm gonna go bury all my threads, get it all ready, get all my minky dust off, and then get ready for binding and then calling it done. I still have one more quilt tag that I have, and that's gonna be perfect for this. And then 26 to 21 will be complete. Well, after a few questionable days of will she get to the shop or won't she get to the shop to get her binding, she got to the shop. I ended up working on Sunday, which is today. This is the end of Sunday. And after the first day back after Christmas, and so I've got my binding. I went with the second darkest color. Let me figure out which one it was again. So I was gonna go with Royal, which was this middle color here, but I went one darker. No, this one's Royal. So I went one darker for Prussian. So I'm gonna get this all cut up, sewn into strips, go find my quilt tag, and then we're gonna finish this quilt up. It'll be all done. hope was to be done before midnight, but it's 12:06. I'll take it. My binding's all done. My quilt tag is somewhere on here. Here it is. My little Punch Cat quilt tag is all on there. That was a close call. It's been so long since I put one of these on. I almost got that too close. But no, I just need to really check my threads on this. As you can see, they're everywhere. And then get some pictures up. Range Quilt in all its monstrosity is done. So my minky back can keep slipping over. So it's all pieced and quilted and bound and all good to go. It's even got a quilt tag since it's going to somebody significant, aka my younger brother. And so now all I need to do is clean it up and pick off some threads. So, because if you haven't noticed by now, that's where I slack, is in the threads. So with this quilt, I would highly recommend it to anyone. It's such a good manly quilt. It's got so many different options of colorways in the background, whether you want it to be this blue range or there's like a green one, there's a sunset one, there's a couple of really pretty ones. The blue colorway was just the one that made the most sense for my younger brother. And then we have this nice Shannon C3 cuddle backing to make it nice and soft. I just have some warm and natural batting in there as you saw before, and it looks awesome. So I'm gonna go pick out my threads, and then by the time we come back, you're gonna see pictures of it. So let's take a look at those.